Hello there everybody, it is me XFreezerBunny and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. So today we're back in Sulani and this time we're building the modern islander beach house. Now this house was designed as a vacation home for a family that loves the beach but also wants a lot of privacy as well. So this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home in Muapalam, which is the neighborhood on the upper right corner of Sulani. And at the moment we are building it on this 40 by 30 private island lot. And I chose this lot because I wanted a lot that had mostly land in it. I think most of the builds I've done for island living so far have been on the water, so I wanted to do something a little bit different and have this build mainly on the ground itself. This build also has an infinity pool, and that is possible because I used a mod for this build. So I'm using the coastal basement and pool mod by Twisted Mexi. I will link it down in the description below for those of you who want to download it so that you guys can have this build look exactly the way it does in this video. Just make sure if you're looking for this on the gallery to enable your custom content filter for this build to show up on there. I will also make a CC free version of this build without the mod, most likely without the infinity pool for those of you guys who want a version without CC. That's also going to be available as well, and I'll also link that in the description as well for you guys. So yeah. Anyway, before I forget, I would like to give you guys a little bit of a noise disclaimer. Unfortunately, I have to record this right now. There's a lot of traffic outside. Yeah, hopefully you guys will bear with me. It's been a very busy week for me. I had so much work to do. I also don't think I'll have a lot of time this weekend to record anything because I'm going to a concert with my best friend and we've been planning this for months. So I kind of just want to focus on that and get this build out of the way before that whole thing happens this weekend. So hopefully you guys will bear with me throughout this video. You might hear the metro passing by every couple of minutes. Apologies for that. There's also a lot of traffic, so there's gonna be a lot of like cars honking, and there's also construction upstairs. For some reason, my next door neighbor just wanted to renovate their house and their carpenters are making so much noise. So oh my gosh, this is probably the worst time to record this commentary, but I'd rather record it now than cram it in a later date. So hopefully you guys will bear with me and hopefully you guys will still enjoy this build. So let's talk about the actual build itself. So this build is actually inspired by a real life house in Bali, Indonesia. I believe it's called the Lavelli house. It's owned by an Italian jewelry designer, and I don't know, I was just looking for modern white beach houses when I stumbled on this really awesome website called Word of Mouth Bali, hashtag not spawns. But yeah, I saw this house on there and I just immediately fell in love with it. I knew that I just had to recreate it in The Sims 4 and I'm really happy with how this turned out. So one of the features that really stood out to me when I first saw the house were these covered porches in front of the house that were framed with these like kind of like, I don't know what these are called, but it's kind of like framed with these like square column things or whatever. So I used an item from Get Together. It's like the 90-degree sculpture from Get Together, and I used that to frame the outdoor porches. The ocean facing porches are framed in that, and I thought that they looked so good. I did have to put them underground so that they could match the wall height I was building this on, but I'm really happy with that effect. Yeah, this house on the exterior, it's pretty minimalist, I'd like to say. Minimalist slash islandy, if that's even compatible. But yeah, the exterior, it's a little bit basic. I was a little bit worried about it at first as I was building this because I just thought it was so basic, but as I was doing the landscaping, it surprisingly came together really nicely in the end. Compared to my other builds in Sulani, this one has a lot less of a resort feel and more of a kind of like private family beach house feel. So I definitely wanted to give this house a little bit more personality. So you guys will see that despite the exterior of this house being almost entirely white, there's actually a lot of color on the interior. The interior of this build is so fun. It's very colorful, it's very playful, and I'm really happy with it. It's a little bit different from my usual interiors because usually I like to do builds that are a little bit more like, I guess, sophisticated and more kind of like subdued. But for this build, I just kind of like wanted to do something different. It's still kind of sophisticated, but also very playful and very colorful and very vibrant, I have to say. So yeah, there's also a lot of activities in this house as well. I made sure to include a lot of functional items and activities because I just wanted to have a place in Sulani where the Sims could just have a great time. So you guys will see later on that there's a lot of like outdoor beach activities that the Sims can do. It's all good, it's all fun. Now that we're working on the interior, there's still a lot of whites, there's a lot of black and whites, but there's also splashes of color here and there. I really love the idea of adding in pops of color. So for this particular area which we're furnishing right now, which is kind of like the kitchen slash breakfasty area, we have a pop of color from those bar stools. Now there's this whole saga of these bar stools. There's this whole saga of these changing bar stools because I feel like I've changed these bar stools like 3 times on 3 different occasions. I just got so indecisive, but as I was building this, the color scheme kind of just kept changing, and since these bar stools were kind of like in a central location, they kind of had to change. Oh, these are the second iteration of these bar stools. I think I changed them one more time a little bit later on, but yeah, I was just making adjustments to these bar stools because I felt like they were kind of like, I don't know, they made all of the different colors come together, and it's really awesome. I loved it. It's different from my usual furnishing, but I'm really proud of myself for kind of this experimental like furnishing, I guess, and it worked surprisingly. I'm also using a lot of plants that were meant to be outdoors as indoor plants, which is kind of a thing I do in many of my other builds. I love this one plant, by the way, that came with Island Living. I'm not sure what plant that is exactly. It's the one to the upper right. You can just barely see it over there, but I use that quite a bit on the exterior roof decks as well as on the interior as well. Now this right here, it's kind of like in this covered porch area, but I actually intended this space to be the main dining area of this whole house. Now obviously it doesn't function as a dining area, but you guys kind of still get the gist of what I was going for. It's kind of like this, I don't know, oriental type of dining area where, you know, people sit on the floor and they sit on these little poofs, and I don't know, I just saw that they did that quite a lot in Bali. The house that I actually based this off of didn't have any sofas. It didn't have any like actual chairs. Like most of the rooms in the house I based this off of had day beds, and I thought that was a very interesting thing. So you guys actually kind of saw me replicate the daybed situation they had on the dining room, like in the kitchen area. They had a daybed that had kind of like a tray, table, bar thing on top of it. It's really complicated to explain, but if you guys just look it up on Google, it's the Laveli house in Bali, Indonesia. So yes, now that we're working on the master bedroom, I gotta say it's quite different from my usual bedrooms, or like it's quite different from your quintessential bedroom, because this bedroom doesn't really have like any clear separation between the bedroom and the bathroom itself. Once again, the idea for this was based off of the house that was built on in Bali. I saw that the main bedroom in that house had the bathtub behind the bed itself, and I thought that was really interesting. So I tried to replicate that here. I did use quite a lot of blacks in this build, but surprisingly it works in this minimalist island home. I also incorporated quite a lot of color. In this room we have that beautiful red centerpiece on top of this study table. It's so beautiful. I love that color red. Those yellow lampshades will be moved to the guest room because I'll replace them with something that's a little bit better. But here I am finally deciding to not have a separate bathroom for this because I just wanted to make things a little bit different. So I put this walk-in closet. Can we even consider it that? Technically, it's just like this closet area that's still part of the room, but it's meant to be a walk-in closet, whatever. But yeah, this closet uses kind of like this light wood color. I really like that color, by the way. It feels very oriental to me. And then we are kind of just putting in some other like decorative pieces on this hallway area. I put these like shoe racks, you know, just to make things a little bit more realistic. And we have the toilet in its own separate corner of this bedroom. There's also going to be an outdoor shower as well, which we will be furnishing later on. But over here in this kind of like narrow hallway, I just put like a bookshelf moment thing. I don't know, it's just kind of like meant to be an aesthetic shelf. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. I think I've used this in other builds before, this technique. I also put this leaning artwork on the shelves. Oh my gosh, those leaning artworks, by the way, I feel like I've used those literally in every single build I've done. Like ever since they got patched in the game. I just love them so much. But now we're furnishing the outdoor shower. There's literally nothing here. But I just felt like, how awesome would it be to have an outdoor shower, right? Like, if the owner is feeling a little bit risky, they can choose to take a shower over here. I'm not sure how that would affect the Sims, knowing that they're literally taking a shower outside in public. But I'm not sure if Sims really have the same privacy standards that we have in real life. I feel like they do. They should have, right? But yeah, I tried to use the shower from Island Living. It didn't work with this style, so I went for this more minimalist base game one, which actually looked really good. Anyway, here I am actually extending the front of this house to accommodate laundry area. I think this is the first build I did in Sulani to actually have laundry, but I figured since it was more like a family vacation home, this would be a pretty practical thing to have. I mean, I do see this place as a house that a family would stay in for like extended periods, maybe a couple weeks to months. So speaking of the whole family aspect, we are now furnishing the kids' bedroom. Now once again, this bedroom does have a lot of blacks and whites, not by choice, but because of this whole bunk bed situation. I used the stairs from Island Living. These are stairs that the Sims use to jump into the ocean. But if you use them indoors, the stairs just have really awkward lighting because obviously they were meant to be used for the outside. But because of the whole lighting situation, I had to make the stairs black and it looked really weird with a wooden bed, so I had to make the beds black. So that's how I just made it to make it everything cohesive, I guess. But I think it still worked out in the end. I did throw in a couple splashes of color in this room as well. I put that magenta love seat. Well, it's a white love seat with magenta throw pillows, and I also put that purple gaming console as well. But now we're working on the final room in this house. We are working on furnishing the guest bedroom. Now, you guys probably just saw me change the bedside lighting in this bedroom. I put the pendant lights that I chose for this bedroom in the master bedroom instead because I felt like that really worked in there. And here I put the yellow lampshades that I originally had in the master bedroom. I thought that they looked much better in here as well. But here we're making kind of like a similar shelf situation to what we did in the master bedroom, only a little bit smaller. This room does have a little bit more like crazy patterns and colors compared to the other rooms, but I figured, you know, why the heck not, because it is a guest bedroom. Anyway, you guys just saw me finally make a decision on those bar stools. Now those are the final color schemes for those bar stools in the main breakfast area, and I decided to go for 3 colors. I used primary colors for those bar stools because I felt like they just really brought the space together. Now, you guys are probably gonna hate me for this, but this right here is the main living area, and here I used the love seats from My First Pet stuff. And surprisingly, I really loved those love seats from My First Pet stuff. I used them as an L-shaped sofa, and to be honest, I think out of all my attempts to make an L-shaped sofa, that's the one item that looks the best. Also, can we just like get a amen for that beautiful scarlet red color on the sofa? It is such a striking red color. It looks amazing. It really, really does. So yeah, thumbs up for that sofa, and thank you for existing. I actually hate My First Pet stuff a lot less now that I know I can use you as an L-shaped sofa. And yeah, just adding in some bookshelves. I also put in that massage chair from Spa Day just to have a little bit more activities in this area. I also put in a ceiling fan over here. If you guys are curious what I'm doing right now, I'm just making sure that the ceiling fan attaches to the roof itself, because I don't really like it when lights just float out of nowhere. You know, realistically speaking, they don't do that. But yeah, this is the point where I made this room into an open area. So yeah, I just decided to make most of the living areas in this house open. Yeah, usually that would be fine for me, it wouldn't be a problem, but now that we have seasons, the Sims might find it hard to live in some areas that are open. Luckily in this house, we do have quite a lot of indoor space as well in the bedrooms, so if your Sims need shelter, they can just stay in the bedrooms. Like, I don't think the Sims really get bothered that much. I mean, unless there's like a thunderstorm or like if it's raining, the Sims will get wet, so they can just stay in the bedrooms. So yeah, also you guys just saw me put in that bubble blower item. I never used that, so I'm really happy that I was able to incorporate that in this build. And on the other side of the roof deck, I also put some sunbathing areas as well. But here we are furnishing this infinity pool, and I got this inspiration from this trend I've seen quite a bit in Bali, where they have these like floating baskets or trays that they serve food on inside the swimming pools. So I thought that was a really cool thing, and I really wanted to make a nod to the inspiration for this build, which is beautiful, beautiful Bali, Indonesia. I really want to go there. I haven't been, but one of my best friends from college has been to Bali, and she gave me a magnet of this like mask. Yeah, and I'm not sure what it's called. It's like a red monster mask thing. I actually posted it on my Instagram stories, by the way. Oh my gosh, if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, you're missing out on a lot, because I've been posting a lot of stuff on my Instagram stories. Like, this build has pretty much been posted in its completed form in Instagram, so for those of you who follow me on there, you're probably already seen this build in its finished form. Also, earlier this week we celebrated the whole National Gaming Day, so I posted like a really long post on Instagram to celebrate some of my favorite non-Sims games. I literally unleashed my inner hardcore gamer on Instagram, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of you were really excited to see other games I played with that aren't The Sims, but here we are just landscaping this build. I wanted to have grass because I feel like most of the builds I've seen in Sulani so far didn't have grass at all. I live in an island country where there's a lot of beaches like this, and trust me, we have grass. It's not all sand. So I thought that having the grass just made it look a little bit more realistic, but my favorite thing in this build are these like stone like pathways. I was inspired by the house I based this off of, and I just tried to recreate it. I'm really happy about how it turned out in the end. I also put this red mailbox right here, which just got me so excited because, like, once again, you know, we have that pop of color, and I feel like it really ties it all in on the exterior as well. But here we're making kind of like this yoga area outside. I put in like a fountain over here, like water feature, and a little area for yoga, which is actually lit by candlelight at night. To be honest, I was a little bit worried because the exterior of this house was a little bit basic and minimalist, but after I did the landscaping, it all came together thankfully, and I loved it, especially with the landscaping. It feels really realistic, and I'm just really happy with it. But lastly, we are just putting in this fire pit area, just for the Sims to hang out, maybe roast some marshmallows and just, you know, have a nice family bonding moment at night. But having said that, I think that's going to be it for this build, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this commentary right here. As always, if you guys want to support the channel, please don't forget to share this video and subscribe because that really helps out a lot. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. You all have an awesome day. Enjoy the rest of the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.